Welcome back, I'm Zephyr with Iris Diecast, and for today's video I'm going to be taking you on a tour of one of my rarer cars, the BMW 850 CSI by Revell. Nowadays there are plenty of replacement models made by Solido and Automobile, but just until a few years back, Revell was the only choice for the 850 CSI. This one in particular is the dealer version, which is the rarest color. And while the standard blue, purple, and yellow models go for surprisingly low prices, the silver dealer version alone goes for well over $120. I got mine in a mint condition with full packaging for a little less than $110, and I think I got a pretty fine deal. I really like the color combination for this car. I originally wanted a purple one, but now that I look at the silver model in person, the silver with the black roof creates a really refined and elegant look. It's nothing too fancy, but the black roof and red seats give it a nice little emphasis, let's say, that makes the car stand out, but not in a bad way. So this is a really old model, probably around 25 years or so. Therefore, the overall finishing quality isn't very good. This is a problem with a lot of the older models. The casting is overall pretty rough. There are large gaps between opening parts. For example, here and here. And the car has some pretty weird proportions. It's not the most accurate scale model. Although that doesn't necessarily have to mean that the car is not detailed. So, for example, you can see that the air intakes and other holes in the body, they are not carved out cleanly. As you can see, bits of paint still left on there, and the plastic parts like the fog lamps and the grills, they don't fit perfectly onto the car. You can also see this faint line here where the bumper bends, and the fog lamps have huge pegs inside them, although back then nearly all of the models used pegs to hold plastic parts in pieces. And the grills are not perforated, and the edges are made in chrome. Surprisingly, they used the emblem piece for the BMW logo instead of just stamping it on or using a sticker. And as for the wipers over here, they seem kind of small for the car. I'm pretty sure it wouldn't be able to wipe all of the windows. They are a separate piece, while most budget models are just connected to the whole windshield. Paint quality is not really all that bad for such an old model. Paint quality used to be a pretty big issue on Barago cars from the same era, but I only have a minor issue on the headlamp. So the paint quality is pretty good. Unfortunately, the pop-up lamps don't come up, which is a shame because you don't get a lot of pop-up lamp models that actually function. And Solido recently launched an 850 CSI of their own, and the pop-up lamps function on that car, but with the Solido you don't get the opening hood and trunk. And here is the engine unit. It's the S70 5.6 liter V12, which was also used as a base engine for the legendary McLaren F1. An even more powerful M8 was planned, but that was cancelled, which is a pretty big shame because that car had so much potential. Overall, the early 90s was a bad period that put an end to the competitive sports and supercars boom with the economic recession and the soaring gas prices due to Gulf Wars. The A series was not very successful in terms of sale as well, but the tech that was developed for the A series went on to live in other BMW models. So back to the model itself, the engine is actually pretty well detailed. I mean, the plastic quality is not really that good as the some of the newer models, but really it exceeded my expectations. It's not in a single piece. This whole block is a separate piece from the layers around it, and it's really cleanly painted too. It's definitely a well-made engine. So moving on to the side. The side mirrors seem actually way too small for such a big car. Like I said earlier, some of these older models have some inaccurate proportions. The car looks really sleek and elegant. I think the E31s are just underrated. It's a really cool car that I would definitely love to have one day. I prefer the rims on the Revell 850 CSI to the 5-spoke rims on the automobile version. I think it captures the 90s atmosphere more, and it fits in better with the car. The details on the rims are not very good. I mean, the rim itself is fine. It has a very cleanly printed BMW logo, and it even has a tire lettering, but the brake rotors are just terrible. I mean, there's no texture, and it kind of looks like the rim is blocked. The car offers very wide turning angle, and this particular model doesn't come with working suspension. The door hinges are really well made. I was really surprised to see it like this. It's not like the older budget models, which have one long arm in the center. This one has two. And the door opening angles is large, and I was really surprised to see it like this. The door trim is also pretty well made. It almost feels... it doesn't give the cheap feeling you get with most cheap plastic parts. It gets blurry. It almost feels like the material you see on the real car door trims. I wouldn't say the interior is detailed, because it only has a sticker for the gauges, but the plastic quality is overall not too bad, and it has a really thin steering wheel, which is hard to see on cheaper cars, as most of them have ridiculously large steering wheels. The build quality in the seats is not very good. The seat belt is just attached to the car, and there is a noticeable gap between the seat's back and the cushion. But they did try to capture the plush texture of the seats, and like I said earlier, the red accents give it a really nice emphasis point. So moving on to the rear, again, inaccurate proportions. The car gets way too thin around the back, which kind of makes the car look weird. There are huge pegs for the rear lamps, and the plastic lamps are really roughly finished. It kind of looks like they don't fit on the car or something. And the exhausts are pretty well made. It is perforated, and it's really cleanly made. Other budget models usually have thick, clogged up exhausts. Again, an emblem part for the BMW logo here, and the 850 CSI lettering is just a sticker. And once you open the trunk, it's too dark in here, but you have a spare tire. The same type of tire that goes on the car with the straps, which is pretty neat. The undercarriage is actually really well made. It's really well detailed, although, like I often say, I really don't look underneath my cars often, so it's not really a major point for me. The car actually weighs a lot, and I think that's because the model is fully metal. Most of the models use plastic or ABS for the bumpers, but this one is just full metal, so it weighs a lot. That would probably be a merit for most people, but you do have to keep in mind that if the model weighs too much, the axles give away after some time. So to wrap up this video, now that there are many replacement models for the 850 CSI, this car no longer holds the strong merits like before, and the weaknesses start to come in mind. Being an older model, the car is finished quite roughly and has incorrect proportions. Just from the outer appearances, I think other brand products are better. However, this remains the only 850 CSI model to offer fully opening parts, as Toledo's E31 only offers opening doors and functioning pop-up lamps. Besides, the engine detail is pretty sweet on this model, so it really maximizes the effect of the fully opening car. I would say it's a matter of choice, since the regular Revell E31 and the Toledo E31 go for around the same price, and this dealer version and the automobile go for a similar range of prices. But I'm pretty happy with this car, and I wouldn't replace it with the other variants. I think this is the car for me. So thank you so much for watching. I'll be back with a short update on how my collection is going as a thanks to the 400 subscribers. Click like if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you all later then.